Hi, I'm Pat Baer, and this is Pat Baer's Anime Club. It's my ongoing video series where I get to talk about anime. You figured that out from the title of the video and also this slide right here. I'm looking to see the slide. Yes, there it is. You see it. You see the slide. You know what we're talking. Go to this is. I like talking about anime. I do a new video every other Monday, going in detail about the stuff that I want to chat with you about. And in this particular case, let's bring up what this one is about. It is the Winter 2025 recommendations. I got four of them, four recommendations, and they are, very different from one another, which is the goal as well. No real romantic comedies in this one, but other genres, including a sports recommendation, if you can believe it, of the stuff that's going on. I would like to hear from you in the comments below what you're watching this season. I mean, I'm watching more than just 4 anime, but I didn't want to be like, here's 8 things. It's so early in the season too that like all of this could change. I could fall off some of these. I could pick up a show that I haven't been watching because maybe like, I don't know, there's that doctor procedural anime and maybe somebody I know is going to be like, Pat, episode 6 really kicks off. You got to get caught up on this, and maybe I'll check that out. You know, that can happen. But here are 4 that I would say, as of right now, with the time of this recording, I'm really enjoying, and I think you might enjoy as well. Let's get into it with the first one. From bureaucrat to villainous, Dad's been reincarnated, with the exclamation point right at the bottom of that. This is a really fun show. It is the Otome branch of the Isekai, the different world anime where the main character is in the setting of a dating game, the somewhat, historical fiction type thing, a lot of influence in European writing and history in these style of dating game shows, or dating shows, not dating video games that are fictional and made into shows. In this case, our main character, yeah, he's just like a good dad. He's just like a good dad and an office worker, and had this life, and now he is inhabiting the villainous. And of course, he's not interested in becoming super powered or doing the villainous role. He wants to support people, but he can't leave them alone because he's still on the inside a father. So he still needs, like, almost subconsciously, he still needs to be awkward in places and also helpful. And it's really fun. It's a great mix of that. So this would theoretically be a romance genre, but it's not. It's more of a comedy drama isekai. And it's really fun. If there's one isekai this season you should watch, it's another one that I'll talk about soon. If there's 2, it should also be from bureaucrat to villainous, Dad's been reincarnated. There's a lot of isekai out this season, and I'm going to recommend 2 of them on this very video that I think you should definitely check out. Like I said, this is one of them. Yeah, it's just really fun. You'll have a good time with it. It's on Crunchyroll. You should check it out. Sakamoto Days is kind of a no-brainer for this season. It's the big shonen manga adaptation that people are talking about. Pardon me. It's the one that you may have heard people rant and rave about and encourage folks to check out. So you may already know that this is going to be, you might be watching this already. This might be the thing you're watching. The big kind of shonen stories is this, and I mean, I guess Dragon Ball Daima are the big ones. But Sakamoto Days has some comedy to its drama as well. It is the story of Sakamoto, who is a retired hitman. He was best in the biz, but he can't really retire. So even though he's put on some weight and he's older and he's not as spry as he used to be, and he works, at a shop with his wife, and he's got his kid, and they live upstairs, trouble keeps finding him. And immediately there's some found family of him, like with people who need some help, who are also involved in that world, kind of come together. And the action has been really strong. Are only a few episodes in at this point, but it's solid. Maybe the animation itself dipped a little in the second episode, but came roaring back in the third episode. It is fast-paced and silly, and him being overweight is not the punchline. It's just a fact of life, and it's to juxtapose the 2 lifestyles that he had. I am not super familiar with the manga. I just didn't caught my attention. I think that It's a weird thing that I've come to realize about myself is that sometimes a manga doesn't hit for me, but the anime does. And maybe that's just the vibe of it. Maybe I do like I do like a lot of shonen, I should say, manga, but maybe some things I can overlook more if I'm hearing a monologue rather than reading a monologue. I'm not sure. But either way, I can tell you that Sakamoto Days is awesome, and you should check it out. Highly recommend it. If it's in this video, I highly recommend it. So I'm not 100% sure how to say this word in Japanese, because I don't think it's a real Japanese word. It might be. So let me try. Soriaro utility. I think it's Soraru. It's Sorairo. Soryu. I'm going to say Soryu utility. Soryu utility is, I should actually just say what it is instead of just trying to figure out how to pronounce the name. I'll figure that out later. The future Pat will deal with this problem. It's a girls doing things show, and we don't get a lot of those these days. I feel like there was like 2 last year. So I'm always interested, even if the thing that they're interested in is the thing they're doing is golf. I told you I was going to recommend a sports anime. Because this is, yes, there's some technique about golf. There's certainly an interest. There's an understanding of what golf is, but it's through the eyes of the main character who is trying to find her thing. And she might think that her thing could be playing golf and hanging out with fun ladies and making friends. You might be asking yourself, Pat, is this queer baiting? So far, no, but that's not to say that it won't become that. I don't think this is a Yuri story. I just think this is a story with girls, and I don't know if they're going to go heavy on the flirtation subtext or not. So far, they really haven't. But that is also a hallmark of these types of stories. This is an original. It is one of 2 originals that I'm recommending. The other one will be coming up soon. And you can do the math that the next one I'm going to talk about is a isekai that's also an original. One of the rare things in isekai these days anyway. But back to this story. Yeah, I think it's just like fast-paced and fun and light and a good one of those. And we don't get a lot of those. The girls doing things style subgenre. We just don't get a lot of them. So I'm very happy to have more of that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. I think this was just really cute and fun, and I recommend it. If you haven't checked it out, you should. There's an OVA on Crunchyroll, but this is a high dive show. The OVA came out a while ago as a proof of concept. You can ignore it. You can watch it, but check this one out on high dive. It's really, really good. And then on Crunchyroll, you can find an isekai that is an original production named Zenshu. You may have heard of Zenshu. The plot synopsis was a red herring or a gotcha or a bait and switch, whatever you want to call it. And I will go into a bit of detail on that real quick. This was presented as a MAPPA original story about an animator, and my feelings on MAPPA as a production house is for a different video. I've said my piece, talked about it before, but I was like, do I really want to watch an anime about someone who makes anime and is going through a tough thing? I kind of like the idea that she had this big hit, and now her next project is a romantic comedy, and she has no experience in romance, so she is running into roadblocks. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why she accepted that project. Maybe we'll find out. Well, that is part of the main character until she accidentally eats poisoned food and seems to die, and then is awoken in a fantasy world that is based on the anime that she fell in love with when she first started watching anime as a child. That is poorly received by critics and viewers because it's really sad. And so now she's in that world, and guess what? She's got cool animation powers. And so it's a power fantasy isekai, but it's an original isekai, which we don't really get. That's cool, and only because it's an adaptation. It's not an adaptation, I should say. Only because it's not an adaptation do we get the fact that it's an original, and we can not know the big twist. We got surprised by it. We're learning as we go. I think it's really fun. I think the story's great. I would love a little bit more of the characters. I like that she's still not, even though we can appreciate her, she's still not super likable. Like, she's growing and changing, hopefully, and becoming a better person as she goes. I do also like that even though she's an animator and in an anime, she's still being honest about where she comes from and all this stuff. It's like, come on, you don't watch Isekai? Like, no one's going to believe you. I mean, I guess that happens occasionally, but yeah, what are you talking about? The fact that she kind of knows what the plot is helps. Also, there is a fun little bit of a layer, a tiny little layer that they use a lot of tropes that you would find in anime, of the anime within the anime, of like capital letter noun is the voids, that kind of thing. Like, they can be kind of shitty about it because it's not supposed to be a great anime. And I don't know if I'm reading too much into that, but it is a nice little detail if that's true, or I could be just reading it too deeply. Anyway, Zenshu, it's awesome, and I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, I recommend it. And that's for winter 2025 recommendations. I think you'll do great with any of those shows, or pick up all of them. But again, I'd like to hear from you in the comments below. What are you watching? What are you playing? What do you plan on watching is what I want to say. If you're behind on some stuff. But yeah, what are you into this season? I'm sure there's some stuff that I just missed out on. I know there's some romantic comedies that didn't seem really that good, and one that didn't get picked up that I was definitely interested in. But if you're watching any romance, let me know, because there's room for romance anime in my heart. And then also, if you have any ideas for future videos you'd like to see, I did receive a comment fairly recently where someone gave an idea that wanted another manga another manga club episode. So I might do that. I don't know if I'm going to do another weird manga or just some manga recommendations, some stuff that I'm reading. Maybe, I could do a like manga that's done and in English recommendations. I like that. I'm writing that down. Manga recommendations. I'm spitballing here. You're watching the process. Completed in English. So it would be recommendations of manga that's done and all of it's available in English. I guess I'll put legally done and completed in English manga recommendations. I think that's a fun one. I can think of like 2 off the top of my head that would be great. So yeah, in 2 weeks, come back for that. At the time of this release, 2 weeks later, come back for that. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.